Hey, hello class. So hopefully you've already watched the video about the simple sentences and compound sentences. So now I'm going to talk about complex sentences. And to start, we're going to talk about independent clauses. So we talk about this a little bit. A independent clause is a complete thought. And if you remember from the lesson about simple sentences, a sentence must have a complete thought. Okay, so just remember when we say complete thought, that means we need a subject and a predicate. Okay, so we have this example sentence down here. And if we look at it, the subject is Manchester United, because as you remember, the predicate usually, not always, but usually starts with a verb. Okay, and then everything else that comes after that, that is the predicate. So this sentence has a subject and a predicate, which means it doesn't need any more, it doesn't need any more information. It can stand alone, okay? So we can say, we can add an end mark and make this into a full sentence, right? Or a simple sentence, right? So we add the little period here, right? So we add the period and it becomes a full sentence. A dependent clause is only part of a sentence. It is not a complete thought, so it needs more information. However, a dependent clause can have a subject. Well, hold on, let me draw that better. It can have a subject and it can have a predicate. And in this case, the predicate right here, it starts with an adverb. Okay, so that's why I said back here, hold on a second. That's why I said earlier, right, that a predicate usually starts with a verb. Okay, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, sometimes it starts with an adverb. Okay, and this sentence needs more information, and that is because of one thing in the sentence, which is hold on, let me find a color here. Here we go. That is this phrase here, and I will explain this soon, but all you need to know is that the sentence doesn't start with a subject. Okay, and that's how we know it's not a independent clause, it's a dependent clause. Okay, so we can't add a full stop to make this a sentence because it's a dependent clause. So to make this a sentence, we need to add an independent clause. So the way we can do this is we can start the sentence with an independent clause and add the dependent clause to it like this. Manchester United won the EPL in 1997, even though they only scored 75 points. Boom. That is a perfect complex sentence. Another way we can do this is put the dependent clause first. But if we do that, we also need to add this. That's not a good color. Let me give it a better color in there. We need to add a comma when we start with the dependent clause. So we need to add a comma. Okay. That's just the rule. I don't know why it's like that, but you do need to have that comma. Okay. So We have another example here. Do we need the comma? Well, we know that this, we know that this is the dependent clause and it comes first. So that means we need a comma, right? You can see it there. Okay, so try and look for that. If you can find that word or phrase that is not part of the subject, that's a good sign you need to use a comma first. And in this case, we don't need a comma because the independent clause comes first. So tattooing was not known in the Western world until Captain Cook. So until is actually kind of like a fanboys here. So not exactly, but it's very similar. It's very similar. Okay. So we've already studied simple sentences, right? So we have our subject, it, and then we have our predicate, was raining. And then we've also studied compound sentences, right? It was raining, subject, predicate, and then we add a fanboys, or sorry, comma, fanboys, I took the bus, subject, predicate, okay? Now, complex sentence will have a dependent clause and an independent clause, okay? And dependent clauses will start with this thing called a subordinating conjunction. So subordinating conjunctions are, like I said, these are similar to fanboys in that they can put sentences together. However, as we saw earlier, right, these subordinating conjunctions can be at the beginning of a sentence, or they can come in the middle. Okay, and that's why these sentences are complex, because we can do them in complex ways. Okay, and so just you have to kind of know these subordinating conjunctions. You kind of have to memorize them like vocabulary. But there's not that many, but this is a good list. If you know these subordinating conjunctions, you should be able to spot every dependent clause that you ever see, okay? So just like we did before, you're gonna write some clauses. And this time though, you're just gonna write dependent clauses, okay? You're gonna write 3 of them, and you're gonna write about any topic. So I'll give you 2 minutes for this. If you need more than 2 minutes, you can pause the video. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, I think that's enough time. I might have got the time wrong, but I think that's enough time. So I'm going to show you my dependent clauses, okay? So here are my dependent clauses. Hold on. dependent clauses. Okay, so I have these three. Okay, yours can look similar. Just make sure, right, you have your subjects, right? Right, there's a subject, there's a subject. Make sure you have those subjects, okay? And your predicates too, of course. Now, this says trade your paper with a partner. We don't have partners. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna add 3 independent clauses to make 3 complex sentences. So you can add these independent clauses to the beginning or ending of your dependent clauses. Okay, I'll let you decide how you want to do it, but just remember, remember that sometimes you will need a comma, right? One of these things. Let me put that in clear. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a minute, 30 seconds for this. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so hopefully that was enough time for you. I'm going to go ahead and finish my sentences. So because this sentence starts with although, right, the subordinating conjunction, I need to add a comma, and I'm going to finish it with, although the class was about to finish, Jamie's students didn't want to leave. Okay, and this one, I'm going to start with the independent clause. So I'm going to walk if a taxi doesn't stop. And I need to add the end mark there. There's no comma here, right? Yeah, don't forget your end marks, right? Don't forget your end marks. And last one, whenever my girlfriend smiles, comma, her eyes sparkle. Oh, I'm so sweet. I'm so cute. Okay, so remember, right? Don't forget your end marks, right? Don't forget your commas, and also don't forget your subjects, right? So the class and Jamie's students and I, a taxi, my girlfriend, her eyes, right? Those are the subjects in those clauses, okay? Oops, and that's it. I hope this helped you, and this should help you for your writing assignments. And yeah, and hopefully I'll see you in class. So take care and have a good day.